So Kingdom Hearts 3 actually came out, which was as much of a surprise to me as it was to you. I kind of figured it'd get delayed for another couple of years, but hey, eventually it did come out. So, I played through the entire game now, and I have no idea why. You go to a bunch of different Disney worlds, like this one's Toy Story World, and you press the X button a lot to hit bad guys. And then if you're in a Disney world, you'll generally play through the story of that movie. The Pixar ones instead have things that happen after the movie that completely destroy the canon of those universes, but hey, that's okay, it's just a video game. And then that's kind of it. Like at the end of each world, you get a little bit of meta story with some bad guys who want to do things that they don't really explain at any point as to why. And then you go to another world where you fight a bunch of bad guys who've been turning up throughout the game, and then that's kind of it. Like, I did not understand what was going on in this game in the slightest. It's probably because of the fact that I only played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 a decade ago on the PS2. And apparently all of the other ones are really important to the story. So that's probably a little bit on me, and a little bit on the game for being bad at explaining everything. Now, there is, if you pause the game and go to your gummy phone, glossaries and the story so far of all the things that happen in the main game, and glossaries about things like the things that happen in it, and it's all incredibly boring, dull, boring. I'm trying to say both words at the same time. Like, none of it's narrated. It's all just text to read. None of it explains what any of it means. None of the characters explain who they mean. People introduce themselves like, oh, you, I didn't know you were... It's like, I don't know this person. Like, I feel like I'm being harsh than I should be, because I just didn't enjoy playing this game very much. Quite a few of the worlds are boring and monotonous, like the Frozen world just has you go up a mountain a bunch of different times, and you get knocked off again, and you get to go up it again. And that's just not enjoyable. And like the actual gameplay itself, I'm sure it's probably more complicated on the higher difficulty, but at least on normal, I did not die a single time outside of a gummy ship battle, which is the method of getting between worlds, because I took something on in a ship that was literally made of paper. And then I made a newer ship and literally just won instantly. It feels very by the numbers and gross and dull. The only things that I've actually found entertaining throughout the game were the interactions with some of the Disney characters. Like, the Monster Inc. level was a particular highlight, because, you know, stuff that happens in it is quite fun. And there's a certain joy to stuff like, hey, you're outside Andy's house, and there's a street, and there's, you know, a toy store you go to, and stuff like that isn't the worst. It's just, none of it really feels in service to the actual main story, which... I don't even know what that is anymore. So yeah, I can't honestly recommend buying Kingdom Hearts 3. It's also one of those things though where if you're actually a fan of the franchise and you've played through all 11 billion games across all different franchises and platforms, then you've probably already bought and completed this game before I have, because it's, you know, you buy those games to play them. And this is the newest one, so you've already done it. But if you've been looking at Kingdom Hearts 3 and thinking that might be a good place to try out the franchise and the series and the gameplay, it's certainly the best that the game has played for a while, but the story will not mean anything to you, because it didn't mean anything to me. Also, the camera is terrible. Like, the only time I was ever in danger of actually dying to a boss fight was when the camera refused to actually target the person who was fighting, and then you just couldn't walk because you couldn't see what was happening. This sounds like an entirely negative review, but it really isn't a very good game. Like, the only thing I can say that it really nails is the music. Like, there's times when it's a pretty game, there's some nice vistas, but the actual game itself otherwise looks pretty passable most of the time. But the music's really good. Like, some of the tracks are pretty standout. Unfortunately, I can't really show you any of the music because they specifically have a thing on their main page. If you stream the music, then they'll come down hard on you. So, oh well. But yeah, it's just to reiterate, don't buy it unless you've already bought all the others. And if you already bought all the others, well, you probably already bought this, so I don't really know why you're watching this. Yeah, that sounds like everything.